Hello, Markee Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to another episode of the Mailbag. So, we're going to start off today. Oh, it's very dreary outside. Look at it. Can you see that? All those clouds. See, I'm looking out the window right now. Isn't that kind of great? My window is actually right there. You can see all the light off the window. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, you can see all the light off the window. But when I look this way, I'm actually looking at it right on the monitor there. Simple little things excite me. You know, the small pleasures in life. Okay, so for this episode of the Mailbag, stuff submitted from people like you, we've got the... This is the the wife and girlfriend dilemma. Oh my. You know, when I... Seeing this title, you know, it makes me think of, okay, that could be a dilemma. You're married and have a girlfriend? Oh my, that's quite a problem. Hi Markee, I'm Troy from Nottingham, UK, 30 years old. Can start by saying I enjoy the channel, thank you. My laugh cracks him up. English expression for LOL, okay? Also, the Marcus Eikenberry and Realize as a catchphrase gold. You know, that wasn't even on purpose that I ever started that. Somebody mentioned it one time, or I did. You know, I think I just started saying that. And, golly, I don't even know how far back that goes. But then... somebody wrote to me one time and called me Mr. Eikenberry in real life or whatever, and I thought, oh, you know, I've never seen that written out before. That's kind of funny. And it's just kind of stuck. So, yeah. This is my question. I think an answer from you would help your fans. Oh. I love gaming and always have to try and play whatever I can whenever I get a little bit of spare time. However, my girlfriend seems to be reluctant to let me without busting my balls. American expression for nagging. Or we call it bitching here too. But how do you do it? Thanks for reading. Peace. So, of course, this is not exactly as it seems, now is it? So the issue here is really getting the time to do these things without getting nagged on by your significant other. So, you know, my first thought is that this kind of nagging isn't just from video games or anything like that. You could be out working on your collector car, restoring it, or you could be, you know, whatever. Anything that takes up a lot of your time. And what your girlfriend is saying is that she would like more of your time. That's exactly what she's saying. And so I'm not quite sure how to deal with that. I can tell you how I've dealt with it. I married a gamer. So, so you know, half the time when I'm working, you know, doing this stuff, you know, she might be playing WoW or Minecraft or whatever. I caught her playing Path of Exile the other day. So she was out there killing everything, trying to figure out the whole, that skill tree, that skill, you know, it's not even a tree, I'd call it like a vine, golly, maybe not even a vine. It is a mess when you look at it. You can figure it all out, and I don't know how many points there are on it, but there is a ton. And it's hard to figure out everything that you're doing. So, anyway, so pay attention to that. She's saying she'd like more of your time. And so you got to figure that out. And, you know, maybe there are some things that she's into that you can be supportive of her doing and figure out that you can get your gaming in at the same time. So, you know, think creatively that way. Okay, well. And let's see here. Okay, so this is from Bradloy, and he says, wondering if you still had any of your pins left. He means pinball machines. Did you guys ever see when I have some older videos that I filmed where I actually had my pinball machines there in the background. I used to have about a dozen of them. And so let me read the rest of this. Hey, just wondering if you had any of your pinball machines left. Would be cool to see an update of the pins. You planning on getting the new Wizard of Oz pinball by Jersey Jack? Too bad you left Oregon. It's a nice state. But I'm sure Florida's nicer, yes. And he's from a little podunk town called Zilla in Washington. You know, I was living in Oregon, yes, and it was nice there. In Oregon, in the Northwest, pinball is really alive. And in fact, one of the biggest pinball arcades in the nation is in Portland, Oregon. There's some other really big ones that are in Seattle and stuff. The biggest one in the nation, I believe, is in Las Vegas, and it's the Pinball Museum. But anyway, so I'm just thinking here. Couple of things. One is, no, I don't have any of my pinball machines. I sold them all before I moved down here. They are incredibly heavy, anywhere from 200 to about 375 in pounds. They're hard to move around. I mean, I really got used to knowing how to move them around. I put my back out a couple of times moving those pinball machines around. And the heaviest one I owned was Twilight Zone. I really loved that. That was the #1 rated pinball machine and the most complicated pinball machine out there. Now, pinball machines have really lost kind of their hold in the market. And they're really not very popular anymore. And Stern has been making pinball machines, and they make a couple of pinball machines a year, and they are all licensed ideas. So they take like Batman or Spider-Man or whatever, and they put together a pinball game around that, using the sounds from the movie, using the images and stuff like that, the artwork. And it has really kind of taken some of the life out of it. They've gone to moving to building things as cheap as absolutely possible. And so, you know, you can buy a new pinball machine for $3,000, $3,500. But then come along Jersey Jack. Now, I was one of the very first people that sent him a down payment for Wizard of Oz pinball more than a couple of years ago. But after getting divorced and, really losing almost all of my assets, and I had to sell off all of my machines, and in fact I had to ask for a refund from Jersey Jack for the money that I had put down. I really, really wanted that pinball machine. That pinball machine that he's built here is a pinball machine built out of love, not out of money. Of course he wants to make a profit, but this pinball machine feels different. It looks different. Now, I haven't been able to play one yet, and I do hope to someday, but the machine is much different than the Stern machines. It feels like it's, just from what I see, it looks like it's much higher quality. And now, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Stern. I've met and talked with Gary Stern several times. In fact, I have an invitation that next time I'm up in Chicago, bring the cameras and we can film an interview. But their stuff just isn't the same quality as the stuff that was coming out in the 80s and 90s. So the 80s and 90s were really the high point for pinball machines. Will I have pinball machines again in the future? Yes. Now, there's some caveats with that. One is that it is so frickin' humid here that you would have to keep your pinball machine in an environment that is air-conditioned to remove the humidity. And now that's not hard to do because it's so warm here that we've even been running our air conditioning in January and December. I don't have it running right now. It's only 71 degrees out, but it's very humid in the house. And humidity is evil for pinball machines because they start to rust. And there's so many mechanical parts that are made of metal that it's not good for the machines. And so I would personally feel like more like I was required to keep the to keep the AC on more, instead of on a day where it's like 71 degrees outside. It's about 75 in the house right now. I can open a few windows if I want to, but it's raining out and everything, and so the humidity is just really going to be really high. I think it's probably about 80% humidity out right now. And computers like humidity, not to the point to where they're saturated wet, but they like the amount of moisture in the air. And in fact, a lot of server rooms will have a very high humidity compared to most environments. But anyway, will I buy some more in the future? Yeah, I'll buy some more in the future. But right now, it's not in the cards for me. So, yeah. Okay. How did I get off on that tangent? Oh, and by the way, you know what else I was thinking? Is that it's amazing how much I spend on electricity here and why I wouldn't want to run the AC all the time. Because running the AC every day will have a power bill for my house of $350 to $400. And that's a lot of money. For electricity, and if we don't run the AC, we only turn on the AC when it's maybe gets above 80 degrees in the house, then we actually save a couple $100 a month. So, because my last electricity bill was around 200. So, anyway, just something that I never thought of living in Oregon. In Oregon, we'd be turning the heat on all the time, and we'd have natural gas. Natural gas is very, very cheap and everything, but electricity for AC, much more costly. So, okay, Brad Loy, thank you for the question. And then, let's see here. Suggestion for the mailbag from Distortion Head. Ahoy there! How about adding timestamps to the description text for different subjects, like Total Biscuit does for his Content Patch series? You know what? I think that's a very good idea, and you're not the first person to recommend that. And in fact, I've left area down at the bottom of the screen here for annotations to link to the different areas. So I'm trying this now, but I think from now on you'll see annotations right away for the second and story and beyond. And so that will allow you to skip to the subject that you are most interested in. And I hope that will help. I may try, I'll do some tests to see whether or not linking to it in the description will help, but I think that is a very good idea. So, okay. Now, got one more here. Oh my goodness. So, Mr. T. Macy Juski, Travis, known as Travis in real life. So, Mr. Travis in real life, he says, his title is Entrepreneurialism, Gun Rights, and Marijuana. Are you a libertarian? Markee Dragon, I've been watching your videos for a few months now, and I really enjoy your outlook on life. I was worried when I saw gun control as a mailbag topic, but I'm very pleased with your answer. It pleased me even more when you said that even though you don't actually use guns, that you support the rights of those that do. I find this very similar to how you side with the individual freedom in regards to smoking marijuana, even though you don't smoke. With that out of the way, my question is, do you consider yourself a libertarian? Evidence. I can say I've never thought of myself as a libertarian. Let's see. You support entrepreneurialism. You have shown this many times. You support gun rights. You recognize you can't stop violence by banning the tools. You support freedom to smoke marijuana. You don't personally smoke and won't hire people that do, but you won't lock them up. Thanks, Travis. Well, here's the deal. The deal is that even though I don't feel like laws need to be made on a lot of this stuff, well, I don't know. You know, am I a libertarian? Shit, I don't even know what the definition of a libertarian is. But here's what I can tell you. I can tell you that I'm very pro-business, and you know, I typically, not all the time, but I typically vote Republican, and but I have been known to vote for the right Democrat, and and I don't put anybody else who's in between, you know, out of contention. If they're the right person for the job, I don't care which, you know, where they land. And as far as how I've always viewed myself, I viewed myself as a capitalist. I know that's not a political party, but that is really how I have thought of myself when it comes to issues like this. You know, it's like, you know, how can this improve government? How can, you know, the reducing the cost of government? How can something improve business transactions for both us locally and on a, you know, national or international level? And, you know, how can this better the people around me? Is it something that could benefit them? And if it can, you know, if it's something like even with you know, the sales I do with MarkeeDragon.com, we're very, very much an international company. And in the past, I had always hired local people. And so, you know, I was like, well, let's give jobs locally. You know, we can afford to do it. Let's do that. I felt like it was the right thing to do. Instead of hiring somebody in India that, you know, that or in the Philippines or whatnot, that I could pay $2 an hour instead of $20 an hour to do the same work. We kind of did it that way. But anyway, does that make me a libertarian? I don't really know. I actually have not thought about the definition for libertarian. In fact, why don't we just go and look it up? This could be fun, huh? Have you guys seen, look at this. So here's Google search. Have you guys seen the little microphone that appears in Chrome? Watch this. Define libertarian. It's thinking. Okay, libertarian. An adherent to libertarianism. Oh, that helps. A person who advocates civil liberty. So how do you like that? You love that? The new voice stuff in Chrome? I just think it's great. We're going to be speaking to our computers just like in Star Trek 4, where Scotty says, "Computer, computer," and then they say, "No, you need to use the mouse." So he picks up his mouse and he says, "Computer, please respond." Except we won't have to hold the mouse up to our mouth. Okay, so is libertarianism is a set of related political philosophies which emphasize in individual liberty, political freedom, and voluntary association. You know, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that definition does fit me. I don't. I've never considered myself to be libertarian, but I guess if the shoe fits. But it's not something that I go out of my way for, so that I would say put that down as my political affiliation. It's just not. So anyway, this concludes this episode of the Markee Dragon Mailbag. And if you would like one of your if you've got a story idea or you got a question or whatnot, feel free to send it in. And if you're lucky, it'll make it on the show. I get far too many to be able to do all of them. And so I just have to pick some of the better ones or some of them that resonate. You know what? There are sometimes you guys send me some really, really good stuff. But what happens is that I just don't know enough about the subject. I can see it would be a great item, but I'd have to do a whole bunch of research, and I'd rather just stick with the stuff that I know. So anyway, that ends this episode. Please join me for another episode in the future, and take care. Now that you've made it this far, can I interest you in another video? You know, in the upper left right there, I am building a custom gaming computer. In fact, it's the computer that I use to record my gameplay. I get awesome frame rates. When I'm not recording, I commonly get 60 to 80 to 90 frames a second. But when I'm recording gameplay, and if you are someone who's recording gameplay, you could still get 30 to 40 frames a second even while recording gameplay. And for those of you who have actually tried recording gameplay, you know that that's important and that that's hard to do. So that series of building my computer is not for people who really know what they're doing. It's for people who have never built a computer before, and because I go through every detail all long and drawn out for someone who knows what they're doing. And we all learn a few things along the way. In the upper right is War Z, and that's gameplay that I filmed on that machine. So right there you can see I'm taking out all the zombies that are coming at me. It looks like we're in Smallville right there. You know, Smallville is a great town to try and hold and just kick everybody's ass. So much fun. On that particular video, you can see that we got 100 player kills and 2 hackers. We do these Saturday sessions where we try and hold these different towns and see how many players we can kill. Not zombies, players we can kill. And have a great time doing it. Do that with our clan, and you know, there can end up being just a couple of us on the live stream or a dozen of us. We have a really great time. In the lower left, that is one of the live shows where Roman Russian Caliber called in. He's the art director of the War Z, and he decided to let us know what the current status of things are, what they're working on, what's important to them, and talk about the artwork in the game. And then, the lower right, that is a hacker who has a personal message for Sergey, the CEO or the president or the leader of the War Z. I'm not sure what his title is, but he believes that Sergey should be punished for taking our money and providing us the game in the state that it's in. And in fact, he is so upset about it that he is actually hacking the servers, bringing them down. Right there we're talking about when he took servers down one afternoon, and he threatens to take down servers again, which is in a follow-up video to that. And he proves how he's done it. And so it's an evil, evil world out there. And I can't agree with somebody wanting to hack the servers and take them down. In fact, it makes all of us players, you know, lose access to the game. But he really wants to punish Sergey. And so there we have it. You get to hear everything that's on his mind, how he's taking the servers down, and why he's doing it. Enjoy this music on the way out. I'm Markee Dragon. Take care.